At a historic meeting of the United Nations, the world came together to bring into force the Paris Agreement.
I'm proud to announce that 175 parties have signed the Paris Agreement,
a legally binding international treaty to limit global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius, while pursuing efforts to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius. As part of its commitment to the Paris Agreement, the Government of Vanuatu, with the assistance of the Global Green Growth Institute, the Government of New Zealand, and the Government of France, has developed a long-term, low-emissions development strategy, or LEDS, with a strategic vision to 2050. On November 30, 2022, Vanuatu's LEDS was officially launched by the Minister of Climate Change, the Honourable Ralph Regenvanu.
This is a document required under the Paris Agreement and is submitted by Vanuatu to the UNFCCC to communicate its long-term low greenhouse gas emissions development strategy aligned with the global goals to limit the world's temperature to 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. The LEDS complements other government policies, including the National Energy Roadmap, the Nationally Determined Contributions, and the National Sustainable Development Plan, NSDP. Vanuatu already has net negative emissions. Vanuatu's large forest area removes more than 10 times the greenhouse gas emissions generated from human activity. Yet Vanuatu's own pathway of reducing emissions demonstrates a commitment it seeks at a global level to address climate change. If Vanuatu can go beyond net zero in its climate goals, then Vanuatu's neighbours can also raise their ambitions.
In developing the Vanuatu LEDS, representatives from Vanuatu's government, business, and not-for-profit sectors came together to establish the vision for Vanuatu to 2050. That vision, to reduce emissions across all sectors in a way that supports resilient, sustainable, and equitable growth for its people. The LEDS provides sector-by-sector review of alignment with the vision statement and identifies opportunities for Vanuatu to develop a low-emissions and climate-resilient pathway to 2050. Vanuatu's energy sector has ambitious mitigation targets to be 100% renewable by 2030. However, additional actions are needed to achieve the LEDS vision, such as meeting the electricity demand in the provinces, promoting better cooking technology, scaling up coconut oil production, and improving climate resilience. In the transport sector, the government has set strong efficiency targets to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but further steps need to be taken to meet the LEDS vision. This includes developing a national transport policy, improving vehicle and fuel standards, coordinating the introduction of electric vehicles, and developing skills in Vanuatu's people to support change in road and marine technology. The waste sector is a big driver of emissions, as well as a source of vulnerability in natural disasters. Yet the waste sector is also a potential source of energy at both household and industry levels. So to achieve the LEDS vision, the waste sector will need to scale up biogas production, as well as increase waste management awareness and build cultural norms around safe waste management. The livestock sector is the largest single contributor to Vanuatu's emissions. Ambitions to grow this sector must be weighed against other national ambitions to reduce emissions, as well as protecting this important sector from the impacts of climate change. Land uses including forestry and agriculture are the key to Vanuatu's long-term emissions balance, as well as an opportunity to improve resilience. Improved land use planning and efficient usage is an opportunity to reduce emissions as well as increase resilience and adaptation. Vanuatu's forests need to be protected for cultural and environmental heritage, but there are opportunities to gain revenue for their protection through forest carbon markets. In the agriculture sector, Vanuatu can improve resilience through climate-smart agriculture, integrated practices, and working with custom landowners on land use planning and change. For both the water and health sectors, Vanuatu recognizes the increasing vulnerability to safe drinking water and spreading disease. To meet the LEDS vision, Vanuatu can use long-term strategies and planning to protect Vanuatu's water supplies, identify future needs, and plan for weather extremes.
The long-term low-emission development strategy, LT-LEDS, aligns well with the objectives of the COP process. So at COP27, we were lobbying with other countries, especially those in our camp who have been severely affected by climate change, to join us in many of the issues facing us in terms of mitigation, adaptation, and loss and damage. Also advocating for new and additional climate finance with less bureaucracy and bottlenecks to support us adapt and deal with the impacts of climate change.
Vanuatu's LEDS shows us a pathway towards the 2050 vision of reduced emissions across all sectors in a way that supports resilient, sustainable, and equitable growth for its people. Vanuatu will need assistance to achieve this vision, and we invite you to come with us on this journey.